Yo, what's good guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got yet another Premier League predictions video. Now this time we'll be doing the predictions with the Game Week 9 matches, so some very good matches happening as well. So let's start with Leicester City versus Nottingham Forest. This is going to be a great underrated team and an underrated game as well. So let's get started with Leicester City. They have been doing quite well recently, picking up their form in the past two matches. Last game they won 3-2 against Southampton. Vardy could apparently be leaving at the end of the season. He's rumored to be going to Saudi League or retiring overall. Now he scored once again in the win, and so did Buonanotte. On to Nottingham Forest. They are doing very well this season. I did not expect them to do this at all. Genuinely, like, fair play to them. And Cresswood just keeps on scoring, doesn't he? Their latest win was a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace, and they have one of the best defenses in the league as well. I believe the third best defense in the league. And my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Nottingham Forest. Now Manchester City versus Southampton. This game should be going City's way, to be fair. They probably have a massive advantage here. So let's get started with Man City. They are obviously the reigning champions from last season, looking not too bad this season, but I can't lie, they're getting some tight wins recently. Like the last game they played Wolves and got a winner late into the game, and John Stones winning the game with a header, and he won in 2-1. And Haaland has not scored much recently, which is pretty interesting. Maybe defenses are figuring out how to kind of phase him out of City's attack. Now on to Southampton. It's a bit of a struggle for them this season. They unfortunately lost the last game 3-2 to Leicester City. That was a game with a lot of goals, and they have not won a single game at all this season as well, and they sit in 19th place within the Premier League table. Now maybe the manager could be getting a sack soon, so who knows. And my prediction is going to be a 4-1 win for Manchester City. Now we have Brentford versus Ipswich. This game could be a great one as well, so let's get started with Brentford. They're looking quite good this season, playing some very nice football, and Mbeumo has been a massive player for them. In their last game they lost 2-1 to Manchester United. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Brentford would come out with something in that match, but they did not. Now on to Ipswich, looking not so good in the Premier League. It's a bit rough for them as they have not won a game so far. I think a player that has stood out for me is Delap. He's been a very key player for Ipswich, and Omari Hutchinson has been great as well with carrying the ball forward and with his technical ability. They did lose their last game 2-0 to Everton, so maybe they could bounce back in this match. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Brentford. Now Brighton versus Wolves. This should be a great game here, so let's get started with Brighton. They're looking not too bad this season, playing some quite nice football. I would say Danny Welbeck has been quite good for them, getting 5 goals and 1 assist in the 8 matches he has played so far. Last game was a tight one as well against Newcastle for them. They really ended up winning that game 1-0. They are back on form. Who knows, we will have to see in this match. And on to Wolves. They have been struggling a lot this season. They have been conceding so many goals. The number of goals they have conceded is 23. Absolutely incredible. In 8 matches, that's crazy. Never would I have thought a mid-table team from last season would be in the bottom of the Premier League table right now. But I've been hearing around that Gary O'Neill could be staying, and the Wolves board trust him to turn this around. I think that's a good decision. They should stick with him, and I believe he will turn it around. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Brighton. Now the next match is going to be a very good one. Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. This is going to be such a good game, so let's get started with Aston Villa, looking like a great team once again this season. Maybe they are even better as well, and I gotta say Morgan Rogers has been phenomenal for this team. Watkins is back to scoring as well. He scored against Fulham and they won that game 3-1. A really good team overall. and Unai Emery is just doing wonders at this club. On to Bournemouth, they are looking not too bad this season. Their last game against Arsenal, which was a huge surprise. They won that game 2-0, very disappointing for the club I support, Arsenal, and even Nelson was quite good in that game. Kluivert, when he came on, was good as well, scoring the second goal as well to get the win. And my prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Now we move on to Everton versus Fulham. This is going to be a very good game, so let's get started with Everton. They've been doing quite good recently. I have a feeling they would turn it around, but they drew to Newcastle 0-0 and a 2-0 win against Ipswich as well. They really managed to get their form up, and Sean Dyche having a masterclass in his recent matches. On to Fulham. They're in decent form, but in recent matches they have faced tough opponents, and 2 weeks ago they faced Man City and they lost 3-2, so it's been a bit rough for them in the past 2 matches, and I believe after this they will find their form again. Jimenez seems to be back to his best, which is great to see, and my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Fulham. Now we move on to Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. This should be a very good game, so let's get started with Crystal Palace. They are not looking too good this season. They sit in 18th in the league, which is pretty crazy. This season I gotta say Eze has been kind of quiet. Maybe he is missing his partner in crime, Elise, who now moved to Bayern, as we have said many times. They have not won a single game this season. That is not looking good. Glasner's job could be at risk if this keeps on going. Now on to Tottenham, doing pretty decent this season, to be fair. Heung-min Son, obviously the main man in the Spurs team now. Spurs recently beat West Ham 4-1 in their last game, and I gotta say they have developed a nice way of playing football, and this game should be quite a good one for Spurs. So Solanke is slowly growing into his role, and my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win for Tottenham. Moving on to Chelsea versus Newcastle. This game is going to be a very good one, so let's get started with Chelsea. They have had quite a good season so far, and they are playing some very nice and attractive football. They had their first test in their last game. They had faced Liverpool, but they lost that game 2-1 in a very tight game. Jackson having a good season, and Palmer is balling as well, but Palmer kind of went missing in that Liverpool game. It's interesting, but maybe they found a tactic to kind of bring him out of the game, kind of. But Maresca has turned this Chelsea squad around, so fair play to him. On to Newcastle. They're doing not too bad this season. They have not won a game in 4 matches. Now this really seems to be a problem because Isak is missing one of their key players where the goals come from. Isak is one of their main goal scorers, but they have been playing some decent football, I can't lie. The last game they lost 1-0 to Brighton, so my prediction is going to be a 2-2 draw between these two. Now moving on to West Ham versus Manchester United. This game could be another banger coming up right here, so let's get started with West Ham. I'm not gonna lie, they're struggling quite a bit. It is crazy, especially with the new signings coming in. Lopetegui starting as the new head coach does not seem to be going well. The last game they played Tottenham and they lost 4-1. This team seems like a completely different one to last season under David Moyes. Now on to Manchester United. They're doing not too bad. Ten Hag could be on his way out if he manages to lose his next few games. Now the last game they actually played Brentford and they won that game 2-1, and I thought Brentford would genuinely come out with a win in that match, and Højlund was back in the team and he's back scoring as well, so let's see what happens in this game. I'm very excited. It's kind of mid versus mid at this current moment but my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Moving on to Arsenal versus Liverpool, the biggest game of the week. So let's get started with Arsenal. Looking pretty good this season, although their last match was a struggle. They actually lost to Bournemouth 2-0 and Saliba got a red card, which means in this Liverpool match there will be no Saliba, no Calafiori, no Saka, no Odegaard, Timber as well could possibly be missing the match. So we have been missing a lot of players, and we have been missing that creativity massively. Our attack has kind of gone stale a bit. We are struggling to score goals now. But onto Liverpool, they're looking very good this season. They have had their first real test in their last game. They faced off against Chelsea and managed to win that game 2-1. Goals coming from Salah and Curtis Jones. They're playing some incredibly nice football though, and they have the best defense in the league, conceding only 3 goals so far. And the backline with Van Dijk and Konate has been pretty solid. Trent has actually surprised me defensively. In that last game against Chelsea, he managed to lock down Sancho when coming up against some 1v1 on that wing, and very impressive. He has improved his defensive game as well. Overall, great player Trent is, and my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Unfortunately, my boys will lose, but what can we do with all these injuries? But hopefully you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below all your predictions. I will make sure to check them out, and don't forget to subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.